Today, we are diving deep into, well, one of the biggest sitcoms ever, right? Friends. We're going to pull out some of the most natural, everyday English expressions you could hope to learn from it.
Exactly.
If you want to sound, less like you're reading from a textbook and more like you actually speak English day to day, this deep dive, it's like your shortcut. We're
Right.
basically turning these classic TV moments into language tools you can use, like right away.
And Friends is just perfect for this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially if you're working on conversational English. It's almost like a language lab, but, way more fun.
Right.
It's all grounded in these super relatable situations. Friends, dating, jobs, apartments, all that stuff.
Yeah, the everyday grind.
Totally. And the dialogue, it isn't stiff or formal. It's got that rhythm, that cadence you hear all the time. We've pulled together some key phrases from across the whole gang to help you add a bit of personality and fluency.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We absolutely have to start with, it's got to be the most iconic introduction in sitcom history, hasn't it? That phrase that just instantly makes you think of one character, one specific tone. We're kicking off with Joey Tribbiani.
And Joey is like the perfect example of what you were saying about tone sometimes mattering more than the actual words.
Yeah.
His signature line.
How you doing?
How you doing? Exactly.
Right. Now, literally, okay, it's just a really informal way to say, how are you? Right? But nobody hears Joey's version and thinks he's genuinely asking about their well-being.
Not all, no.
So what's the real application? What's going on there?
It's a total transformation of the phrase, isn't it, the way he draws it out?
Yeah.
It turns this simple hello into something smooth, charming, often pretty flirty.
Definitely flirty.
Yeah, it's purely social. It sets this really relaxed, kind of playful vibe. The crucial thing for you, listening, is to get the context. This is casual chat for casual spots.
Right,
You wouldn't
yeah.
walk up to your CEO and go, how you doing?
Uh,
Definitely stick with how are you today for that.
Please don't. Yeah.
But meeting someone, maybe at a coffee shop, party, leaning into that Joey delivery, it shows confidence, a bit of lighthearted interest. It works.
That context is everything. Okay, so from charming greetings to absolute physical chaos. Ross Geller, the sofa, the stairs,
Now that scene,
and that frantic, repeated command.
pivot, pivot, pivot.
Yes.
Linguistically, that scene is brilliant because it takes this quite broad concept and grounds it in a really specific high-stress moment. Physically, to pivot just means to turn or rotate around a point.
Like on an axis.
Exactly. And Ross is screaming it because they desperately need to change direction with that sofa to get it up those darn stairs.
And, okay, maybe most of us aren't wrestling sofas up tight stairwells every day.
Hopefully not.
But the idea of a pivot, that word comes up a lot, doesn't it?
It really does. If you connect it to the bigger picture, to pivot means making a pretty sudden and significant change in direction or focus. You hear it all the time in business news, right?
Oh, yeah. The company pivoted its strategy.
Pivoted its business model. Exactly. Or even on a personal level. After that happened, she pivoted her career path. It's a really effective word for expressing that kind of urgent, necessary shift.
And you can just picture Ross's face every time.
You can. That
Yeah.
frantic energy helps you remember, makes it stick.
I love that. Okay, so we've covered charm, we've covered chaotic change. Let's switch gears now to self-affirmation. Control, even. Monica Geller.
Hanukkah, yes.
She's organized, she needs precision, and, well, she likes being right.
Monica's character really lets us dig into how a simple, just two-word phrase can carry so much conviction. She uses it all the time.
I know.
Now, most people say, I know, when, someone tells them something they already know. A fact.
Right.
But Monica wields it differently. It's almost like a debate finisher sometimes.
That's the key difference. When she says, I know, it's not just confirming she has the information. It's this really strong agreement, self-affirmation. And sometimes, yeah, it feels like she's claiming victory before the argument even started.
It implies, yep, totally get it, completely agree, and I knew this would happen because, well, I'm usually right.
So if you're listening and you want to inject that kind of strong validation, that kind of emphatic agreement into your own conversations, how do you say it? How do you get that Monica sound, not just flatly stating a fact?
Okay, you got to tweak the delivery a bit.
Yeah.
You need to raise the pitch slightly, especially on the I,
Okay.
and maybe draw off the no just a tiny bit. So if someone says, wow, that meeting was pointless, you don't just go, I know,
Yeah.
flat. You give it that upward inflection, I know. That rising tone signals, like immediate personal agreement, like you really feel it. She says, you own that feeling too.
That's a great distinction. Really useful for sounding more natural. Okay, perfect contrast now. From Monica's absolute certainty to her husband, Chandler Bing, the king of sarcasm.
Master deflection, yes.
He avoids confrontation,
Mhm.
often using sarcasm. And he has this specific sentence structure he uses when something is just painfully obvious or really frustrating.
Ah, yes, the rhetorical question machine. And just to clarify for everyone, a rhetorical question is one you ask just for effect, right? You're not actually looking for an answer.
Right.
And Chandler's classic is, could this be any more adjective?
Like, could this be any more awkward when things are already cringe level awkward?
Exactly that.
Right.
And the key thing here, the mechanism, is irony. The question emphasizes the adjective, but it actually means the opposite.
Right.
So if Chandler's stuck in some terribly boring situation and sighs, could this be any more exciting? He's clearly saying, I am incredibly bored right now.
Okay. So if you want to try out that sarcastic Chandler-esque wit, what's the absolute must-do for the delivery, the linguistic rule?
You have to emphasize the word be. Seriously, try saying it flat. Could this be any more boring? It just falls flat.
Yeah, it sounds like a real question.
But stress that little auxiliary verb. Could this be any more boring? That stress is the flag. It signals, I'm being ironic here. It's what makes it funny, what delivers the sarcasm. Practice emphasizing that tiny word, be, and suddenly you unlock his old comedic style. It's pretty cool.
That is cool. Just stressing two letters totally changes the meaning and adds so much personality. Amazing. All right, let's shift gears again. Completely different vibe. From sarcastic wit to, well, refreshingly honest quirkiness. Phoebe Buffay.
Oh, Phoebe. Yes.
Yeah, she has this wonderfully direct, maybe slightly jarring way of saying no to things.
Phoebe really embraces honesty, doesn't she? Which is actually quite rare in everyday chit-chat when you think about it. Her classic line, oh, I wish I could, but I don't want to.
Yeah, we've all been there, right? You want to say no, but you feel like you have to invent this whole complicated story.
Right. A thick ant, a sudden root canal.
Exactly. Phoebe just cuts through all that.
It's such a great phrase to have in your
Yeah.
conversational toolkit.
Yeah.
Good job to deliver it with her kind of lightness and humor.
Okay, yeah. Tone is key again.
Absolutely. It's informal, it's direct, but it keeps things warm. It basically says, look, I value my own feelings, but without being aggressive about it. It's this exercise in setting boundaries,
Yeah.
but doing it in a disarmingly honest, almost sweet way.
Disarmingly honest. I like that.
Yeah.
Now, here's where things get, I think, really interesting. Deeper, maybe. Let's talk about Rachel Green. Especially early on, season 1, when she's just cut herself off from her dad's money, trying to figure things out.
Right, figuring out who she is.
She uses this really peculiar analogy to talk about feeling lost or insignificant.
Yeah, she says things like, it's like I'm a shoe, or sometimes a hat, or a purse. It pops up when she feels really stuck, directionless.
If you just heard that out of context, I feel like a shoe, you'd be like, what? It sounds so odd.
It's totally bizarre, yeah.
But when you unpack it within the show, within her story, it's actually a really powerful metaphor, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's this really deep expression of, like, existential confusion, feeling
Yeah.
like you don't have any agency.
Agency, yeah.
Think about it. A shoe, a hat, a purse. Those are objects, things someone else picks up, uses when they need it, and then just puts away. So Rachel's expressing that feeling of being passive, maybe undervalued, maybe controlled by other people, her family, her fiancé Barry back then. She feels like she doesn't have control over her own story.
Wow. So if you're ever feeling like you're just kind of drifting, no clear purpose, or maybe feeling unimportant in your job or a relationship, That's actually really powerful vocabulary to express that specific feeling
Exactly.
you're saying. I feel like I'm just being used like an accessory, not the person driving my own life.
It adds so much more depth than just saying, I feel lost or I feel stuck. It really captures that sense of being like a passive instrument in someone else's life. Really evocative.
Okay, we absolutely cannot talk about communication nuances in this group without hitting the big one. The phrase that launched a million arguments, maybe.
Oh boy.
The one phrase that seems to justify everything and maybe nothing at the same time.
The infamous. We were on a break.
Yes, Ross. Constantly using it to defend his actions with the girl from the copy place,
Chloe. Yeah.
Chloe. Right. So, for our listeners, why is this phrase on a break such a loaded but important bit of relationship vocabulary?
Well, it defines this really critical and often really messy gray area. To be on a break basically means you've hit pause on the relationship temporarily.
Okay.
You're signaling you're not officially together, but
Yeah.
you're also not totally broken up and single either. It's limbo.
Relationship limbo.
Exactly. The rules of engagement are kind of suspended, but the emotions, still very murky. And the show brilliantly highlights how this phrase often causes way more confusion and fights down the line than it actually solves.
Because nobody defines the rules.
Precisely. The rules of the break are almost never clearly spelled out and agreed upon by both people beforehand. So it becomes this, like, linguistic escape hatch that leads to chaos. A great example of a vague modern relationship term with huge consequences.
Definitely. Okay, moving away from relationship chaos. Let's wrap up with some phrases that really capture the core loyalty of the group. I mean, it's right there in the theme song, isn't it?
I'll be there for you.
Yep.
Can't get more fundamental than that.
Yeah.
It's just a classic, isn't it? Warm, comforting, shows loyalty, support, care. You can use this with total sincerity for friends, family, partners, anyone you care about.
Like, don't worry about that presentation.
I'll be there for you when it's done. Or call me anytime. I'll be there for you. It's simple, it's clear, and everyone understands it as a genuine promise of support.
And speaking of support, what about when things go unexpectedly? Which, let's face it, happened a lot in their lives.
Constantly.
They often reach for that universal exclamation.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's got to be one of the most frequently used phrases on the show.
For sure.
And it's the ultimate filler for strong emotion, right? Surprise, shock, excitement, good stuff, bad stuff, anything that hits hard.
But just like, how you doing?
Mm.
That delivery can change everything. We have to mention.
Oh, we have to mention Janice.
Janice. Chandler's on again, off again girlfriend.
Her specific delivery of, oh, my God, that drawn-out kind of nasal tone, it turned that simple phrase into her absolute signature.
It really did. It's unforgettable.
Her version is just a masterclass in how pitch and elongation, stretching the words out, can take a totally generic expression and make it iconic, unique.
What does her delivery even convey? It's like,
It's compelling because it instantly signals this mix of, like, dramatic entrance, maybe feigned surprise, and slightly annoying familiarity all at once.
yes, annoying familiarity, perfect.
It's a brilliant example of how you say something can completely replace needing complex sentences to get your point across. Her tone says it all.
So true. Okay, what about validating someone else? Not Monica's I know, which is about her, but when someone says something really smart, really insightful, and it just lands perfectly with you.
Oh, yeah, for that genuine agreement with someone else, we often use phrases like, you're so right, or that's so true.
How are those different from I know?
Well, they focus the validation back onto the person who just spoke. They signal that what they said really resonated. It clicked for you as the listener. It shows complete, enthusiastic agreement with their point. Much more collaborative.
Got it. Collaborative validation. Nice. Okay, one last one. Let's talk about a phrase that's maybe a bit more modern, more efficient. Something Monica, the perfectionist chef, would definitely use if a dish was absolutely perfect.
Spot on. Yes,
But now we use it for pretty much anything.
that phrase is on point. It's got fantastic utility, really useful in modern everyday conversation. It just means excellent, perfect, flawless, exactly right.
So Monica might say,
This sauce is on point, meaning perfect balance, seasoning, everything.
But how can listeners use it more broadly? Give us a couple of quick examples outside the
Oh,
kitchen.
easy. You can use it to compliment basically anything that hits the mark perfectly,
Wow, that presentation you gave, totally on point.
meaning everything worked. The slides, the talking points. Exactly.
Hmm.
Design, delivery, content, all flawless.
Yeah.
Or even something simple like, your outfit today is completely on point.
Yeah.
It's just a quick, efficient, modern way to say something is excellent.
And it sounds really natural.
Totally. It's complimentary and, yeah, it makes you sound current, natural in English conversation. Definitely one to add to your list.
Okay, so let's pull this all together. What does it all mean? Our mission here was to kind of synthesize these everyday phrases, make them into language tools you can grab and use
Right.
by linking pivot to that sofa scene, or I'm a shoe to Rachel's early struggles, or I know to Monica's whole vibe.
Mm.
We're creating these mental anchors, right? Contextual anchors.
Which helps memory massively.
Yeah, it makes remembering so much easier. You're not just learning vocabulary lists, you're learning language as it's actually used in human interaction. That makes it practical, hopefully enjoyable, and definitely relatable.
And remember, the big goal here is just to sound more natural. These are the kinds of organic phrases that native speakers really use to inject personality, whether it's, Joey's charm, Chandler's sarcasm, Phoebe's honesty, into just normal daily communication.
Yeah.
Honestly, incorporating even just one or two of these, if you get the tone right, it can really elevate your fluency pretty much immediately, make you sound less like you're translating in your head.
Excellent. Okay, so since we spent a fair bit of time kind of dissecting how these characters use tone and emphasis to express conviction or sarcasm or flirtation, here's a final thought for you to maybe mull over.
Mm.
Think back to Joey's "How you doing?" and Chandler's "Could this be any more?" whatever. Why is it that in these really iconic Friends examples, the delivery, the tone, the stress on certain words, that specific vocal emphasis, all this stuff that isn't the words themselves, why does that often seem to determine the real meaning even more powerfully than the dictionary definition of the words?
That's a great question.
What does that tell you about the importance of delivery, of how you say things in effective, everyday English communication? Something to think about. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.